a lying bitch. I don't fuck with her. And I never will. And she's like, oh, what's the big deal that I sent my titties out? I was going to tell you this earlier, Oscar. The big deal is that, you know what? Let me take hypnosis out of here first. Because that's it, man.
About either Hispanic folks or black folks because of what they look like or like the organized crime that we might have organized crime folks we might have known in high school. I mean, I was an incredibly ignorant kid in high school. I'm not sure if that's the way to compare it. Not trying to throw shade your way. I wouldn't necessarily compare it that way.
Well, no, I know you wouldn't, but I would. Rural area, if I recall correctly, compared to.
Yeah.
Poor has always been.
He lives down in the fucking valley where it all goes through. Marshall knows what the fuck he's talking about.
No, I know, absolutely. But what I'm talking about, and this has nothing to do with cartels. I mean, we're talking about my experience is primarily 1990s Phoenix, a couple decades.
Yeah, you're talking about just general behavior.
Yes, and so not cartel people. Of course, the cartels still supplied them with drugs and stuff, but I wasn't into any of that shit. Had no knowledge about it. It wasn't my thing, and I wasn't in a Mexican gang, so literally clueless about it. But when it, I would say urban poor and rural poor are always a bit different. They both have a lot of dysfunction. But urban poor tends to be more violent. I would say that like the street gang culture was really big in Phoenix when I was growing up. I would say that when it comes to... I noticed the differences between how black people behaved anecdotally versus Mexicans. Mexican gang members, for example, they generally, if you weren't involved in their shit to begin with, they weren't going to fuck with you. It's just like you didn't have to worry about them doing anything to you.
You're
really.
right. You're right, man.
You can go to the most poor barrio. I mean, maybe if you're flaunting too much shit, somebody might take it, but for the most part, they see a gringo walking through their neighborhood. They look at him as harmless. He's not involved in, any of our shit. We'll just leave him alone. Just like whatever, unless he starts something. Black people.
That was typically my sheriff's advice, Pepe. Like he used to tell everybody, if you're not involved in the drug smuggling game, like the people smuggling game, don't get involved. If you do, you're going to interface with gangs and cartels, right? So his comparison was that you could buy. Like, you could be a dude who likes to smoke a joint or a blunt every once in a while, and you could buy drugs from that dude without getting into the whole cartel thing. But yeah, in my area, it was the same way. They left you out of it if you didn't have anything to do with
exactly.
it.
Exactly. That's how the Mexican gangs work.
They can be mean, but that's because you were sticking your nose where it didn't.
And that's how the Mexican gangs work. But how I saw blacks as being far fucking different. And of course, I was robbed twice when I was, I think I was 14 both times by an adult black male both times. Fucking amazing. But it's when you hear, and I was on Tommy Sotomayor's. If you guys don't know who he is, he's a black man. He's pretty funny, well known. But I mentioned this last night too. Like I can listen to the news and I can hear convenience store clerk robbed, then shot in the face. I know, like I can almost guarantee black man. And he's and everybody and all of the black everybody was like agreeing with it. Like that was some N-word shit to do. For a number of reasons. Like if you have two brain cells to rub together, you realize, well, you had an armed robbery charge, why? And they gave you the money. Why are you going to turn it into a murder charge? That doesn't help you out. You got what you needed. Just leave. But we just see this shit, and the black criminals that were around that I saw were far more in a way, like opportunistic and predatory and willing to just target anybody, and it like they would be there. It seemed like it would be far more random. It was just I don't know, like yeah.
How violent was white people in the first from just say 1900 to 1965? How violent were white men?
Fatima, they were very violent, and we're talking about the current modern day drug trafficking that has violence.
I'm pointing out how shit changes. Just because you are violent now, were black men violent in the early 1900s?
Yeah, they were. They always
were. They were very, very violent.
Yes, they were. They've always been statistically over, and a lot of people don't realize this. They like to say white people are serial killers.
So who was worse, white men or black men in the 1900s?
White men. I mean, excuse me, black men. Black men. So they've always been. Yes. No. Yep.
So, hold on. So black men were doing worse shit than the KKK.
It's statistically, were they committing more murders? Yes.
I don't know about that.
But if you were to talk about here's the thing about, I would say, we're whites, maybe Hispanic people, East Asian people, they can be incredibly violent, right? We can look at Nazi Germany. We can look at the Japanese, what they did to the Chinese. Extremely fucking violent. Horribly violent. But hold on.
Between China and Japan today, because Japan has never apologized for the rape and King.
But we're talking about a totally different. What was the name of that?
Hold on. Listen, sorry, I'm driving. I have a bad signal. Hakima was having the exchange. Marshall, I don't. It's weird. It's as if people don't hear that they're speaking at the same time other people are speaking. Let Hakima will respond with whatever he was saying, and then let Marshall jump in. Pepe, like you're kind of dominating everything. I want to make sure other people are getting.
No, I'm just saying that people change. Like he acts as if because the black people are violent now, even though the trend is going down, that's just gonna be what black people are forever. When I pointed out how white people were super fucking violent, and he pointed out how Japanese were violent. But people do change. But to say that black people are just this violent race that have no hope is just it's kind of crazy.
I'll just say this because I know Marshall was going to bring up a good point. When white people, we can look at cartels, we can look at the Mexicans, we can look at the Japanese. When we commit violence, it is well orchestrated. It's in tandem with each other. It is not sporadic. It is not uncontrolled. It is extremely violent, but it's not random. What you see with black people is random, disgusting individual acts, often of violence in what would otherwise be a civilized society. That's what you tend not to see with other groups of people.
It depends. The John Brown attack.
For example, of Russian mob. I would present you with a counterexample of Russian mob.
The violence you say that it's like for no reason, it's just not accurate. I mean, there's a lot of things that happen in the black neighborhood that you can't report to the police. And therefore, that'd be your reason for doing this. But there's a lot of shit happen. Like the killing that happened in the black neighborhood is not for no fucking reason. Shit has happened where you can't report to the fucking police. That was the reason. People not running around just shooting random people. That is not going on at all.
Are you?
Wait, hold on a second. Hold on. Marshall was trying to say something, and then Andrea was trying to speak, and then we'll go back to Popcorn.
No, I was going to say it was like the John Brown raid on Harper's Ferry right before the Civil War. I think this was in like August of 1860. That was very well planned. John Brown spent quite a bit of time planning it out, what he would do, where his weapons were, those kinds of things. So it's not like black people can't have, quote, organized crime when they get together and they do that. I mean, obviously, organized crime in that way was pretty successful in Harlem. Think of like Bumpy Johnson, an American gangster with Denzel Washington. Like Denzel Washington was a very successful dude, and his violence was very planned. So those are just two historical things that popped up in my mind when you said that, man.
country.
Pepe, I just wanted to present you with a counterexample for